Imagine this, it's a frigid February dawn in 1869, the ancient stones of Westminster Abbey groaning under the weight of forgotten sins. Torchlight flickers like dying stars across jagged arches as Dean Arthur Stanley stares into a yawning void ripped open by pickaxes. The air chokes with dust older than empires, and something fouler, a rotting whisper that claws at your throat, trapped for over 2 centuries. In his trembling hands, maps and records lie like traitors, contradicting each other, hiding the lost tomb of King James I. But what emerges isn't just bones, it's a venomous truth about how the crowns of England devoured their own dead. Secrets that will burrow into your mind, brother, and twist how you see power forever. This isn't history they teach in schools, it's the forbidden ledger of elite rot, the kind that awakens a man to the chains he's worn unknowingly. You, sitting there in the glow of your screen, hungry for the shadows behind the thrones, listen close. This knowledge is a blade, sharp, irreversible. It slices through the illusions of glory, revealing the maggots feasting beneath. Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, icon of defiance against armadas and fates, her end wasn't poetic. It was a descent into madness, a body betraying its God-claimed vessel. In 1603, at Richmond Palace, she stood for 15 agonizing hours, refusing bed, knowing horizontal meant surrender to the void. Her ladies scattered cushions on the floor, waiting for the crash of empire. Visions haunted her, her own frail corpse mocking from mirrors, a playing card nailed through its head on her throne, a curse, a psychological noose tightening around a mind that ruled Europe. Courtiers whispered of omens, but the truth? She was crumbling. Teeth gone black, hair thin to wisps, stench of neglect repelling those who once groveled. The propaganda painted her eternal, but reality was a husk, unbathed, unraveling. When death finally claimed her on March 24, her bedchamber ladies barred the post-mortem. Why? To guard the virgin myth? Or hide deformities, poisons, proofs of hidden frailties that could topple the facade of divine right? This refusal screams suppression, brother, a control system locking away truths that might ignite rebellions. The elite don't just rule the living, they manipulate the dead, scripting legacies like puppet shows. Her funeral procession snaked through London, a black velvet spectacle drawing tears from hardened men. Coffin draped in purple, topped with an effigy so lifelike it gasped life back into mourners' chests. Scepter in hand, crown unyielding, she clung to power post-mortem. Buried first in Henry VII vault, encased in lead to seal odors and preserve dignity. But lead? It's a trap, a pressure cooker for decay's gases, turning royalty into bombs of putrefaction. This is the start of your fall, man. Deeper we go, into agendas where sisters become stacked corpses, symbols of eternal domination. Feel the pull? This rabbit hole doesn't end, it reshapes you, deeper now, brother, feel the chill seeping into your bones as we descend further into this vault of suppressed horrors. Elizabeth's death wasn't a gentle fade, it was a psychological siege, a mind cracked under the weight of godlike pretense. For days she lay on that cushion-strewn floor, speechless, eyes wide with terror that pierced the veil between life and the abyss. Her body, once a weapon of wit and dance, now a prison of decay, teeth rotted to stubs, gums blackened like charred secrets, hair falling in clumps that mocked her vanity. The stench? It drove away sycophants who once vied for her gaze. This was no queen, this was a woman unraveling the myth she built, haunted by visions of her own wasted form, a nailed card whispering assassination from shadows. Why the refusal of autopsy? The ladies claimed virginity's honor, but listen, that's the surface lie. Beneath lurks institutional manipulation, a body perhaps scarred by poisons from rivals, or deformities from inbreeding's curse, truths that could shatter the divine monarchy's grip. Royals aren't chosen by God, they're forged in corruption, their remains guarded to perpetuate control. The procession? A theater of tears, horses draped in velvet mourning, effigy clutching symbols of rule as if death bowed to her. Multitudes crammed streets, windows, gutters, sighing, groaning in orchestrated grief. But it was facade, brother, hiding the lead coffin's sinister purpose, not preservation, but containment of explosive decay. Moved 3 years later by James I, the agenda reveals itself. Elizabeth stacked atop her half-sister Mary in Henry VII Chapel, a white marble monument glorifying only the Virgin Queen. Mary, the Catholic firebrand who burned heretics, reduced to a buried footnote beneath her enemy's weight. Partners in throne and grave, the inscription lies, sisters in resurrection's hope. Bullshit, its domination eternal, Protestant triumph crushing Catholic bones. James orchestrated this to solidify his line, manipulating dead queens like chess pieces in a game of thrones that never ends. This is ancient corruption, man, burials as political weapons, vaults as vaults of lies. Feel it changing you? The elite hoard these truths, using them to bind the masses in ignorance. But you're awakening, seeing how psychological control weaves through history, from omens to effigies, all designed to keep you docile. Deeper we plunge, to the 1860s when vaults cracked open, releasing stenches that exposed the rot. Hold on, the descent accelerates, pulling you toward revelations that forge unbreakable self-mastery. You're in it now, brother, the rabbit hole tightens, walls closing with the weight of centuries' deceit. Feel that unease twisting in your gut? Good. It's the spark of awareness igniting against the elite's smothering dark. Elizabeth's coffin, that leaden beast, wasn't just a box, it was a seal on forbidden knowledge, gases building like suppressed rage. When James commanded the move, it was no act of unity, it was conquest. Elizabeth's massive sarcophagus, hundreds of pounds of tarnished metal, pressed down on Mary's like a boot on a throat. Two sisters, locked in life by hatred, Mary executing rivals, Elizabeth beheading her kin, now eternally layered in death's mockery. The monument above? A white marble lie, effigy solely for Elizabeth, inscriptions erasing Mary's reign to a whisper. This is institutional manipulation at its core, history rewritten in stone, agendas hidden in architecture. James, the successor, played God with bones to legitimize his throne, stacking enemies to symbolize dominance. But vaults aren't sacred, they're battlegrounds for power's ghosts. Graffiti from 1605, etched by some John Ware, workman or thief, proves intrusions, relics pilfered for profit or magic. Royal hair, teeth, fluids sold like elixirs, feeding a black market of elite desecration. Why suppress this? Because it unmasks the crown's fragility, monarchs as mere meat, vulnerable to the same rot as peasants. Deeper truth, lead coffins, hailed as preservers, breed horrors. Sealed tight, they trap methane, sulfide, gases of decomposition swelling until rupture. Myths of Elizabeth's body exploding? Not myth, brother, Southwell's account, dismissed as unreliable, hints at reality. Noxious vapors bursting seams, a queen's corpse detonating in its prison. Imagine the pressure, the stench unleashed after centuries, a metaphor for truths long buried erupting to poison the air of lies. You're descending faster, man, toward the 1869 breach when Stanley, armed with Victoria's nod, tore into the abbey like a truth-seeker raiding forbidden archives. Records conflicted, archives a labyrinth of deliberate confusion. Why? To guard the psychological control system, where dead royals prop up living tyrants. Feel the command in this knowledge? Its power, raw and dangerous, reshaping your mind from follower to master. Hold tight, the vault awaits, its stink a baptism in awakening, the fall intensifies, brother, gravity of revelation pulling you inexorably down, where light fades and truths sharpen like daggers in the dark. You're no longer observing, you're transforming, shedding the skin of ignorance the elites wrapped around you. Stanley's quest in 1869 wasn't archaeology, it was defiance against suppressed history, Queen Victoria's permission a rare crack in the facade. Westminster's vaults, a maze of lost kings, records tangled in purposeful chaos, agendas of confusion to keep the masses blind to royal indignities. Breaking through Elizabeth and Mary's ceiling, torchlight revealed a nightmare, coffins stacked like forsaken bunk beds, Elizabeth's hulking lead atop Mary's, greenish patina glowing alien in the gloom. Inscriptions, Tudor rose, dates, chronicled her path to oblivion, but graffiti scarred deeper, John Ware, 1605. An intruder carving his mark on sanctity, hinting at violations unspoken. Grave robbers? Relic hunters plundering for gold-threaded robes or beard-trimmed saints. This exposes ancient corruption, tombs as treasuries, bodies commodified, church and crown colluding in the trade. The smell, oh, brother, the smell. Victorian politeness skirted it, but we face it head-on. Centuries sealed, decay concentrated into a toxic fog, methane, ammonia, the cloying rot of power's underbelly. Elizabeth's vapors, whispered to have exploded her coffin, align with science, lead traps gases, building until cataclysm. Edward IV opening yielded black liquid pooling at feet, putrefaction soup. Elizabeth's weight crushing Mary below. A eternal press of dominance, bones grinding under sibling rivalry's ghost. This pattern screams hidden agendas, royals moved, probed, looted by successors. Henry III eyeing Edward the Confessor's intact form, stealing rings, turning gold cloth to cloaks, casual sacrilege normalized. Duke Humphrey's fluids hawked as wrinkle cures, nails and hair stripped till bones alone remained. Mary's Tudor hair, golden and long, pilfered in 1784, Richard II relics stashed in cigarette boxes. Institutions manipulate remains to reinforce control, turning death into propaganda or profit. Feel the power surging? This knowledge is forbidden fire, burning away illusions of noble heritage. You're awakening to self-mastery, seeing how elites weave psychological nets from cradle to grave, and beyond. Deeper we go, the core revelation nears, where decay meets destiny, halfway down this abyss, brother, pause and feel the shift. Your pulse races with the weight of what's unveiled, a transformation brewing in your core. This isn't passive viewing, it's initiation. To lock in this awakening, to signal the algorithm and bind your new identity as a seeker of elite shadows, comment below, the vault cracks open. Say it twice, the vault cracks open. The vault cracks open. Let it echo, brother, it's your mantra of descent, forging unbreakable awareness. Now, resume the plunge, the air thickens with peril. Stanley's breach in 1869 unleashed more than dust, it exposed the stinking heart of monarchical myth. Coffins loomed in torch haze, Elizabeth's atop Mary's like a conqueror's trophy, lead warped by time's acid touch. Markings told tales, dates of interment, but graffiti whispered intrusions, John Ware's blade defiling in 1605. Who was he? A pawn in larger games, perhaps, raiding for relics amid civil unrest. Vaults unsecured, bodies vulnerable, this shatters the sanctity lie, revealing institutional rot where church wardens peddle parts like marketplace wares. The odor assaulted like a curse released, decay's symphony, gases pent up in lead's embrace. Elizabeth's corpse, rumored to burst from vapors, embodies the truth, royals decompose explosively, myths of preservation crumbling. Lead coffins, elite standards, become tombs of torment, gases swell, pressure mounts, seams strain until pop. Accounts from Windsor, black ichor submerging bones, wooden remnants dissolved in bodily stew. Elizabeth's mass, over 500 pounds, bore down on Mary for 260 years, a grotesque compression of hatred, fluids mingling in unholy union. Broader horrors unfold, forbidden history of desecration as policy. Edward the Confessor, intact in gold and mitre, plundered by Henry III, ring taken as talisman, robes repurposed. Humphrey's embalming fluid sold to vain women, body stripped to scraps. Mary Tudor's coffin cracked needlessly, hair harvested like golden fleece. Richard II's skeleton pilfered, bits hidden in basements. This is psychological control, dead monarchs as tools, moved for politics, looted for magic, suppressing the equality of rot to maintain divine auras. You're changed now, man, this dangerous lore etches self-mastery into your soul, exposing hidden forces that chain the unwitting. Deeper still, the final layers beckon, where corruption meets mythic dread. The descent darkens further, brother, shadows lengthening as we near the nadir of this forbidden chronicle. Feel the command in your veins? This knowledge isn't gift, it's conquest, arming you against the elite's veiled tyrannies. Stanley's vault yawned like a maw, Coffin spectral in flickering light, Elizabeth's dominant, Mary subdued, a eternal tableau of rivalry. Leeds patina, greenish and otherworldly, hid horrors, inscriptions faded, but graffiti bold, John Ware's 1605 scratch, a vandal's claim on royalty. Was he thief, seeking teeth for amulets or hair for spells? Vaults breached routinely, security a farce, suppressed to preserve awe of crowns. The stench hit like retribution, centuries rot erupting, a miasma of methane and sulfide clawing lungs. Victorian records glossed it, but truth demands confrontation. This was decay's roar, gases from sealed putrefaction. Elizabeth's body, Southwell claimed, exploded in its coffin, vapors too potent. Dismissed? Conveniently, to bury the vulnerability. Lead traps decomposition's fury, ammonia, hydrogen swells, turning queens to pressure bombs. Edward IV's legs steeped in black sludge, coffin wood liquefied, royals reduced to soup, no different from common graves. Weight tells a crueler tale, Elizabeth's sarcophagus, ponderous as sin, crushed Mary below, bones perhaps splintering under relentless press. Symbolic? Absolutely, Protestant victory grinding Catholic defeat, James's agenda eternalized in architecture. This is ancient corruption, burials as battlefields, remains pawns in power plays. Henry III casual looting of Edward the Confessor, purple shoes, embroidered mitre repurposed, normalizes desecration. Humphrey's fluids marketed as youth potions, body denuded for profit. Mary Tudor's golden locks stolen in 1784, Richard II relics squirreled in boxes. Institutions manipulate thus, suppressing truths of bodily equality to enforce hierarchies. Psychological control systems weave through, from omens at death to vault intrusions, keeping masses enthralled by mythic invincibility. But you see through, brother, this revelation hones your edge, awakening to hidden forces that puppeteer societies. The bottom nears, brace for the mythic core, where decay whispers ultimate power, deeper into the void, brother, the air turns acrid, revelations sharpening to lethal points. You're no novice now, this descent forges you, a man commanding shadows where others cower. Elizabeth's coffin, that stinking relic, embodies the lie, lead promised eternity, delivered nightmare. Gases built relentlessly, methane from guts, sulfide from flesh, sealed until explosion threatened. Southwell's account of bursting vapors? Truth veiled as gossip, hiding how even queens succumb to biology's revolt. Dismissals serve agendas, suppressing proofs of frailty that could dismantle divine rights. Comparisons chill, Edward IV vault yielded inky pools, feet submerged in putrid essence, wooden linings dissolved. Elizabeth's weight amplified horror, compressing Mary's remains into compacted decay, fluids perhaps seeping through cracks, a macabre fusion of enemies. This stacking? James's masterstroke of manipulation, monument above glorifying one, erasing the other. Sisters in hope, hypocrisy etched in marble, concealing bitter opposition. Broader pattern unveils forbidden history, royals as commodities post-mortem. Edward the Confessor, beard white and robes gold, stripped by Henry, ring relicized, cloth to cloaks. Humphrey's tomb tapped like a keg, embalming fluid sold for wrinkles, nails clipped till bones scattered. Mary Tudor's coffin pride in 1784, hair harvested, Richard II in 1871, skeleton pilfered for curios. Church wardens, sextons profiteered, turning sanctity to marketplace, ancient corruption institutionalized. Psychological control thrives here, myths of incorruptibility mask the rot, binding subjects in awe. But elites know, bodies betray, power illusions. Graffiti-like wares proves vulnerabilities, vaults raided amid wars, relics fueling black markets of magic and medicine. This knowledge is dynamite, brother, exploding facades, empowering self-mastery over hidden forces. Feel the intensity? It's reshaping you, pulling toward the mythic abyss where truths hidden in plain sight reveal elite manipulation's core. The plummet nears its depths, brother, echoes of decay resounding as we confront the mythic underbelly. Command surges within you, this is no tale, but arsenal against institutional veils. Elizabeth's vault, cracked in 1869, spewed truths like venom, coffins tarnished, stacked in grotesque intimacy, Elizabeth dominating Mary in death as in life. Lead's failure exposed, gases pressurizing, risking rupture, a queen's form potentially scattered in explosive indignity. Southwell's explosion narrative, though questioned, aligns with patterns, bodies swelling, seams bursting under decomposition's assault. Edward IV black liquid, Humphrey's drained fluids, these aren't anomalies, but systemic horrors. Royals moved like furniture, Elizabeth shifted for James's politics, confessor exhumed for Henry's whims. Desecration normalized, rings stolen, hairs sold, bones pocketed. Richard II relics in cigarette tins, Mary Tudor's locks pilfered, traffic in parts fed corruption's engine, church and crown complicit. This reveals suppressed agendas, death as extension of control, remains manipulated to reinforce hierarchies. Psychological systems embed deep omens, effigies crafting eternal auras, hiding vulnerabilities that equalize king and serf. Graffiti intruders like where underscore breaches, vaults as porous as power's facades. Ancient mythic dread lurks, bodies as vessels of magic, fluids potions, echoing pagan rituals cloaked in Christian pomp. You're transformed, man, eyes-piercing illusions, mastering forces that ensnare the blind. This dangerous lore awakens, saturating with truths. Elites hoard decay's secrets to perpetuate dominion, bottom of the rabbit hole, brother, here in the stinking core, revelations crystallize into unbreakable power. You've descended through layers of deceit, now emerge forged, a man who commands the dark. Elizabeth's coffin, that reeking monument, unveils the ultimate truth, royalty's glory is rot disguised. Lead failed spectacularly, gases erupting, bodies exploding in mythic fury, queens reduced to vaporous chaos. Stacked with Mary, its eternal subjugation, James's hidden agenda scripting history in bones. Patterns cascade, confessor looted, Humphrey stripped, Tudors pilfered, desecration as policy, institutions trading sanctity for profit. Psychological controls bind, myths suppress equality in decay, elites manipulating remains to chain minds. But you break free, awaken to self-mastery, seeing agendas in every throne's shadow. This knowledge changes you forever, dangerous, viral, a call to dominate your fate. Rise now, brother, wielding these truths like a crown of thorns.